I am God. I'm making another video. So, today is the 30th of August. Every morning I tend to wake up. The first thing I do is I look at the Daily Mail and I read through the late, all the newest articles that have appeared since I went to, that's the thing, I go to bed, I go to sleep. The world doesn't stop doing what it does. You know what I mean? I go to my bed, I lie down, and I sleep, and I wake up, and then, it's always interesting to see what stories have appeared overnight. I also, I noticed on my Facebook page this morning, I woke up about lunchtime actually, but I have a memory. When you get a 1 year memory on Facebook, it'll tell you about what you posted a year ago. It's always interesting to see. But I posted a video and I called it "I Am Jesus, the Second Coming," or "I Am the what did I call it? I called it yeah, "I Am Jesus, the Second Coming." And I spoke about Aaliyah in that video. That's the thing. My videos go back, more than a year. I've been posting on Facebook for a lot longer than that, years. And, I used to mention that Aaliyah Dana Houghton is my wife. Now, how did that happen? That's the thing. I don't, there is confusion. There is, that's the thing. I'm getting attacked by all these witches. See, Aaliyah, it's a long, I have to explain the story. I should perhaps go back and explain what this is all about. Because as much as that's the thing, I don't even like thinking about her anymore, if I'm being perfectly honest. She hates me, I hate her. Pretty much, there's a war between me and her. That's my current understanding. You see, this is the thing. She wanted to confuse me. She wanted me to be fooled. She wanted me to be... And that's the thing. She's attacking me with witchcraft. She's being a witch, is what she's doing, right? She's trying to fool everybody. So, it's very... that's the thing, I didn't just realize, hey, I'm good. And, everything went perfectly smoothly from that day forward. No, I'm getting attacked. I'm being tricked. I'm being, that's the thing. So, perhaps I should go back to how this all started. Okay, so where do we want to go back to? Where do I want to go back to? So, I've spoken about I went to boarding school. That was about 1 or 2 weeks after Aaliyah Dana Houghton died in a plane crash. Yeah. I also mentioned yesterday about how Nigel Farage, he survived a plane crash years ago. And I said how my housemaster at Charterhouse, the boarding school, like you board a plane, you have charter flights, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, my housemaster was called Nigel Cooper. He was a politics teacher. Okay? Our house colors were black and pink. Interesting colors. I used to have a Pageite's umbrella. That song by Rihanna, Umbrella? Yeah, I think that has some strange connections. Yeah, yeah. Don't Don't ask me why. But I know why. Yeah, look. Flipping heck. I went to that boarding school, okay? So that, that's the thing, I was listening to heavy metal. I was listening to, Limp Bizkit, and then next I'm listening to, bands like Slipknot and Raging Speedhorn and stuff like that, okay? In fact, I never bought a Slipknot album, actually, but I knew a guy who listened to Slipknot. Slipknot was his favourite band, Slipknot and Metallica, and, he introduced me to lots of heavy metal, and it all went from there, okay? So there, she died in a plane crash, it was overloaded. She just recorded a song in the Bahamas. It was called Rock the Boat. That was the year I basically started smoking. As soon as I went to boarding school, after about a month or two, I was running through hedges and hiding in the bushes and smoking cigarettes. There was a guy called Joe Padfield. He was the guy I used to go smoking with when I first started. I used to steal my mum's cigarettes when I went home, I would just I would literally just knit 2 packs and take them to school with me. And, after that, I started buying them myself, I'd grow my sideburns long, put my hat on, get down to the local petrol station and just, get myself some Benson and Hedges Gold or Marlboro Reds or whatever. Embassy number 1s. It was very easy back then. I mean, I was 14, I was 13, 14 years old. I could just walk into a petrol station or a supermarket and I'd come out with, I can get 200 cigarettes sometimes, I remember I was in, I remember the time I was in the supermarket. I was in, I think it was a Waitrose probably, or a Morrison's. Or maybe it was, I don't know what it was back then, but it was in Godalming, okay? The town of Godalming in Guildford. And I managed to, I wasn't even supposed to be in town, I was supposed to be at school. But I was always forging my housemaster's signature on chits. I'd get a little chit paper, and then I'd get I'd get an old chit, and then I'd just put it against the window, and I'd just write over his signature, and then I'd just scrunch it into a ball, stick it in my pocket, and then I'd just go into town. And, because he didn't want to let me go, because he knew I was always trying to buy cigarettes and stuff. He'd caught on eventually. And I was at the supermarket, and, there was a woman, that actress, Chris Evans and Billie Piper. Well, that's where they used to live. You'd often see them. People would see them sometimes in town. I'm not sure if I ever saw them or not. But, yeah, I remember being at the counter to get the cigarettes. I got myself 200 cigarettes, and I looked back to my left, and I could see my housemaster. He was getting his daily shopping. He was getting his food shopping at the checkout. I wonder if he saw me. I don't know. I'd be surprised if he hadn't seen me, but he didn't say anything. So I was lucky that day, I guess. Anyway, maybe he didn't notice. I'd be surprised though. Anyway, where I wanted to start with this. So, wow, this is such a... And this is the thing, let me just point this out, okay? Just, let's cut to the chase, Aaliyah. She came to me. She, my understanding, well, this is the thing. I got attacked by ghosts and spirits, right? They were demons, evil angels, whatever you want to call them, right? They came after me. I got attacked. I was scared. I didn't know what was happening. I was shocked. I was terrified. So, you know, and Aaliyah, she has tried, that's the thing. She's a deceiver. She's a deceiver. My understanding is she's attached to me. She's in front of me. Would I be correct in saying that? Would you say that's correct? I mean, I think she's here. She's on me. Okay, we're attached to one another. Her spirit is attached to, she's literally just hanging on the front of my body. Her spirit. Which sounds crazy. It does. Yeah, it does. I know. Blooming heck. But it's for a reason. It's for a reason, and those reasons are still unclear to me, if I'm being perfectly honest. But she's doing magic. You know, there's a magic war happening. You know, she wants to win, and I want to win. I will win. I'm God. I'm more powerful than she is. Now, is the reason why she's decided she's on me, is that because she's doing that because she's trying to get my power? Or is she attached to me because I'm God? And yeah, you know, like, which way around is it? I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. But the thing is, and that's the other thing. Like, she might be attached to me, but this is the thing. Spirits, you know, can they be in one place? Can they be in, you know, I don't know where else or what, you know, I don't know. That's the thing, you know. I'm not quite entirely sure what other things she's doing. I don't know what other things she's doing. I know she's evil. I know that she's a conspirer with other evil people. People like Rihanna. Okay? You know, celebrities, evil people, okay, doing evil things. Yeah, my dead mum, Fiona. She's another one, okay? So, Aaliyah and Fiona, okay? You know, my current understanding is that Aaliyah is married. Okay, she was married. And Fiona is a very evil witch. You know, you have feces. You know, have you ever heard of, you know, ghosts? If you know anything about Gnosticism, you know, there's an entity, you know, who's called Sophia. Sophia, okay? And there's a lot of, excuse me, there's a lot of, you know, yeah, I mean, just search Gnostic Sophia. You go look at, you know, what it says on Google, or, you know, look at the pictures. You'll see diagrams and stuff. She's a very evil witch, okay? That's what she is, you know. She is... That's the thing. This is the problem. The world is constantly trying to create stories and create... And that thing is about, you know, it's magic, witchcraft, alchemy. You know, this is why people are constantly inventing. You know, they never stop. You know, they always want to invent stories about this or that, or, you know. And I'm God. I said, you know, be careful what you do. You know, don't do certain things. You know, there were the 10 Commandments. You know, worshipping idols, and, you know, look, people were meant to. Because that's the thing. There's a type of magic that's happening where people, invent stories. They basically say, oh yeah, there's this, I don't know, demigod or called whatever. I mean, I'm not totally familiar with all the information about her, but I've had to learn a lot. But this is the thing. People are constantly trying to create different gods with different names and different stories, and this is the thing. There's some very my mum Fiona, very powerful witch, very powerful witch. Okay. But the thing is that all the witch can do is try to draw on my power. It's my power. That's the thing. All witches do, doesn't matter how powerful they are, all they've ever done is try to draw on my power. They can't have my power. They cannot beat me. All they can do is annoy me. Okay? And make me angry. They're just begging to be destroyed by me. Okay? So let me go back and explain what happened, in case, how did I get here? How the heck did I get to this point? People are going to wonder, like, how did I go from being a guy who works in IT, a network engineer, a Cisco certified network engineer, configuring routers and switches and, well, not routers, but switches, Cisco switches, and fixing computers and doing server stuff and scripts and blah, 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 blah. Working for the NHS in Brighton. Infrastructure. Well, I was doing that. I became interested in Bitcoin. And I hated the people I worked with. I'll be honest. I really had a bad opinion of the people I worked with. Most of them. I got out of there. I left. I decided I was going to go home and that I was going to trade Bitcoin. And I was going to give that a go. Because I felt like every place I've ever been, I've struggled. I've struggled for various reasons, but people, that's the thing, I felt like I couldn't win with people. I felt like I was having a lot of problems, and now I realize, my life, I've always been under attack. And I have to stop that from happening. I have to stop people. I have to fix that problem. Because if I can't fix that problem, that's the thing. I mean, I could have gone back and got another IT job or something like that, but the fact is, the world is always attacking me. The world doesn't stop attacking me, okay? The witchcraft just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. I'm God. Why the fuck would I want to go work for some other guy? You know what I mean? It should be the other way around, you see? By putting myself in an office, by putting myself with why would I want anyone ruling over me? Doesn't make any fucking sense, does it? No? It doesn't. Yeah. And people might say, why don't you have a job, Grant? Why don't you have a job? Well, I got money. I'm okay. Thanks. So, let me go back. So how did this all happen? Let me tell the story again. Alright? It's a crazy story. Now look, I didn't write down exactly what happened, when it happened, the day it happened, the time it happened. it was chaotic. It was chaotic, you know. And my life, you know, my flat where I used to live in Brighton was a total mess. And, you know, I was obsessed with studying Bitcoin charts and trying to figure it out, trying to get, you know, very precise trades, using lots of leverage, futures contracts. I got, you know, yeah, what a crazy thing. And that's the thing, right? I'm God, and the world is trying to fight me with magic, and I'm trying to succeed as a trader using 20x leverage on Bitcoin futures contracts. Is it any surprise that ended badly? When the world is doing its best to try to destroy me. Well, what a surprise. And that's the thing, you know, that's the crazy thing, because I was studying Elliott Wave Principle and how charts move, and, you know, I felt like the market was all, you know, yeah, that's the crazy thing, you know. You know, I always felt like it was going against me. And then when I lost my account, you know, it was, yeah. Well, look, that's that. You know, let's not get into that. Let's not get into that, okay? But that's the thing. I know that it doesn't really matter how. If I try to succeed at anything, the world's trying to stop me from succeeding. The world doesn't want me to succeed, okay? It wants to destroy me. It wants to get in my way, okay? And it will try anything to make that happen. I have to do this. I have to, everything that I've explained, okay? So, what happened? So I went home from my NHS job. I was at home for 3 years. I was learning about politics. I was learning about, I was studying politics. You know, well, I was following politics. You know, I was learning lots and lots of different things. I was reading the Bible. I was learning about the Bible. I was learning about cryptocurrencies. I was learning about trading. I never ever went, you know, like, my social life was totally ended when that happened, okay? I was trying to make money. I made some money gambling, on political outcomes, Brexit and Donald Trump winning the US election in 2016. That kept me going for quite a time, okay? I had also borrowed money back then as well. So, yeah, I was very desperate to make sure that I did not fail. And that was incredibly stressful for me. Incredibly stressful. So, what happened? I think, you know, they got to a point where, you know, I was getting to the end of that journey of, you know, and I'd lost most of my money, and things were looking pretty desperate. And, you know, one of the other things that I was doing was, I posted stuff on social media, and people in the local area to where I lived had caught on to who I was. They found out what my name was, and they looked me up on Facebook. And it seemed like I couldn't go anywhere in Brighton without people looking at me with, you know, there were a lot of angry faces. Okay, let's put it that way. There were a lot of angry faces. And people did not want to see me. They didn't want to know me. People would try to knock past me and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, people would hurl abuse at me in the streets. Yeah, you know, I got up one morning, my entire street was covered in graffiti and Antifa graffiti, I may add. Yeah. So, as you can imagine, very crazy shit was going on in my life. Okay. I was the exact opposite of popular. Okay, I was Mr. Unpopular. I was very unpopular. Let's put it that way. I had a lot of people hating on me. I think there were some people who perhaps, admired me for speaking, and I think people perhaps found what I was saying and doing entertaining to some degree, probably, on social media, because I was, I was just going for it. I was really going for it. Let's put it that way. I was quite fearless. Let's put it that way. I would just do it. I would just do it. I would just go for it. And anyway. So, there was a point where, and that's the thing, through that journey, I was posting things on Facebook and I noticed like weird events happening. I've noticed that things in the world, especially earthquakes, when things like earthquakes happened. There was an earthquake not far from where I lived. It was at Gatwick Airport, which is, like half an hour train ride from where I live. And it's like, whoa, just, it pops up in the news, it wasn't an enormous, it was a small-ish, that's the thing, England doesn't normally get very bad earthquakes, you know what I mean? It usually gets very minor earthquakes. Oh, excuse me. But, I could tell back then, even though I had no idea that all this stuff was happening, I got the sense that there was some sort of, I felt like I was hypnotized by all these bizarre events that were happening. I felt like there was some kind of connection between what I was doing and what was going on in the world. And I didn't know what it was, but I had noticed that something seemed really strange. I felt like there was, I felt like I had this sort of, there's something behind the curtain feeling, I had this feeling like, there's something there. There's something there. What is it? What is it? I wasn't really sure because I felt so confused. And I just kept reading the Bible and learning and learning and learning. So what happened? So I went through, I had gold and silver at home, right? And I had, some gold coins, I had some gold bars. I had some gold, not gold bars, I had gold coins and I had silver bars. And when I was running out of money, I had to sell those. I had to get rid of those. And I used to take them to a place, I can't remember what they're called, Bloomsteins, I think they were called. A Jewish-owned metal exchange. I'd go in there and I'd be like, "Hey guys, I've got lots of gold and silver to sell you. You want to give me some cash?" I think they accused me. They thought I was a drug dealer. They didn't like me very much. You might guess why. They didn't like me, but I wanted the money. I'm like, "Hey, buy this man. I want my money. Can you put it in my bank account? Thank you very much." I didn't make. I made a very small profit on my gold and silver, a small profit. Yeah, nothing significant. But yeah, so I sold that. And there was, I don't know, when did it exactly happen? But how did it exactly happen? So let me have a think about this. I remember I was sitting on my sofa one day. Now I can't remember what day it was. I can't remember exactly what had happened around that time, but all I remember was sitting on my sofa and I felt a sensation on my left knee. And I felt it and I thought, what is that? And I knew something was touching me. And I'd never ever I'd never been touched by, I'd never felt the touch of a ghost before. I'd never known a touch, being touched by a ghost before. And I remember, I went through, and obviously a lot of thoughts were going through my head at the time. I thought to myself, oh, God sent me an angel or something, or a spirit, or, I wasn't really sure, but all kinds of thoughts were going through my head, as you can imagine. And then the next thing is I'm getting RAPED by ghosts. Whether, ghosts, demons, I'm not sure. But, I felt like I was being attacked. Okay? I was scared. As a man, it's like, yeah, that's the thing, I don't think there are many people who would like to be RAPED. You know what I mean? That's generally not how it goes. But that's what happened. And it's a ghost. And it doesn't matter how fast you run. It doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like, I tried running. I tried. I think, how can I lose them? How can I get away from them? It's like, yeah, that was the strange thing, and it was, yeah, I was terrified. And I had nowhere to run. I just had to deal with it. And lots of thoughts were going through my head. I'm thinking, I must be cursed. I thought to myself, God hates me. And I'd known that, I wasn't perfect. I knew that I'd done things wrong. I'd known that, that's the thing, the thing was, I was still learning. I was still trying to learn about the Bible. I was still trying to learn about God and Jesus, I was still at the beginning of what, I was still learning things. There was a lot I had to learn. And that all happened to me, and it's like, whoa, it was really shocking for me. I remember, walking into my bathroom, and I felt this massive whack over my head. I felt like I banged my head into something, but I didn't actually bang my head into anything. I felt like, it felt like something hit me. And I remember being in my bedroom, and I saw this, what it looked like an eyeball. It looked like the one eye symbolism that you see, like the eye of providence, what happened, I was standing in my room and I felt this. It felt like a water drop fell onto my hand or my arm, and I was like, it's not raining in my house. You know what I mean? And I looked up, and see, back then I used to have more sort of visions, and that was years ago. So these days I try not to. I've sort of shut out the visions. Because I find it's used more. There's a lot of confusion. Okay, I don't like to. I try to be very careful about what it is that I think I'm seeing with my mind. I choose to. I mean, now I'm like, well, I know who I am. I don't have to be, like chasing after weird visions or anything like that. I don't have to be like, oh yeah, I see something with my mind's eye. Like, what's going on? Like, I tried to, I don't know what happened. I don't know if someone's done witchcraft against me or to try to, but I found that that needs its own explanation, really. I've noticed some really weird things and some really crazy stuff happened, and I found, I find sometimes it sort of switches on and off. It switches on and off. It depends, like what's going on. It depends what I'm doing. But I know what I've seen. I can tell you what I've seen. So I noticed this, I got the sense that there was evil following me. Like, there was, I noticed this one eye. There's this, I got this vision of an eye, like the eye of providence, like the all-seeing eye. Now, and this is while I'm getting RAPED by demons, ghosts, evil spirits, okay? I was terrified. So, pretty much not long after that started, I'm talking 1 or 2 days probably, I decided I was going to walk to the cliffs which are near Brighton. You have to set there the 7. It's like well, it's past Rodine School. So go past Rodine School, go up to the cliffs, and that's where I headed. I went that way, okay, towards Newhaven. And I got very close. I was getting up, and I was not far away from the cliff edge when I was being dragged away, and I went on a long journey with the demons and spirits that were around me, okay? And that day I went through sheep runs, I crossed farmers' fields, I was jumping in and out of hedges. I was, walking past giant dung heaps. I was walking amongst sheep, all kinds of stuff. And I had no idea where I was going. All I knew was that I had to keep walking. I just kept walking with whatever was leading me. I was, I was in a state of apology. I was like, I'm sorry. I was, I wanted forgiveness from God. I felt I didn't know what was happening. I was terrified. Okay. Yeah, there aren't many people who could tell you. Well, that's the thing. People could tell you a story. Well, people could tell you a similar story, but the difference is, well, I've never heard anyone, that's the thing. My story is true. I'm not lying about this. This is how, this thing that happened, well, it's an important event. I have to explain it, okay? So, this is the thing, okay? Look, I'm God. I've been here, and the world wants to keep me hidden, and the world wants to destroy me. It doesn't want me being found. It wants to ruin my life. It wants to attack me in every single way, and the world didn't want me to find out who I am. But I was always on a journey towards the truth, and so eventually I was going to get somewhere they didn't want me to be. That would have meant that I would have picked up the Bible. I would have learned the truth, and that they didn't want that happening. They wanted that not to happen, and that happened. I got to that point. I was there, and that's why I was under so much attack. That's why they came after me like that. They wanted to scare me. They wanted this. That's the thing. It got to that point. Anyway, so, that day I was wandering around, and I remember, I'd had a small bag with me. I had like a phone with, I don't know, I'd switched it off because it has like 10 or 15% battery on it, and it had a battery problem anyway, I explained. But, I'm walking around in Dunlop Green Flash shoes, which are the blue version, but the Green Flash. Yeah. And they got holes in the soles, and I'm like walking around and getting stones stuck in my heel and all sorts of stuff. Wow. Yeah, my feet were sore. And I was very overweight at the time. Like, I notice I'm looking a bit chunky at the moment, but back then, how much did I weigh back then? Flipping out. I was like 16 stone or something. I put on a lot of weight. And I hadn't taken a long walk for a long time. So that day was, it was basically a 10-mile walk. Something like that. Anyway, one thing I noticed that day was that, I'm getting pulled and shoved, by these good demons, and, my back's really sore. I've got, really sore pain in my spine. They didn't want to let me rest. I had my vaporizer with me. They didn't like me, vaping. I felt like I was getting told off, or, I was getting attacked. I was like, you can't do that. It's like, no. And I'm like, okay then. And I looked up at the sky and the clouds. I was actually seeing the clouds being moved. There was a force in the sky. There was something that was able to move clouds and form different shapes to make faces at me, and that was that's probably the craziest thing I've ever seen. If I'm being honest, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen anything like that before, ever. And I saw it, and I was, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know, I was trying to interpret what the sign, it was trying to whatever it was trying to communicate with me. And that happened at different points during the day when I was doing this walk. I mean, I actually I would literally look at the sky and I would ask a question and I would see it trying to give me an answer I'd literally see a cloud that's not even moving, and then it just makes this very strange movement. I could see it getting, like, it's literally, there's a force literally moving it towards, and forming different shapes and signs. It's trying to communicate with me. And I realized that day that this thing, whatever it is behaving. I got the sense that this thing is behaving like a psychopath. Like, it really hated me. It really hated me. It really didn't want to show me any real kindness. It was messing with me. It was trying to mess with me, okay? I got the sense it was psychopathic. I got that sense, and I thought to myself, that's not God. That can't be God. I know I'm not perfect, but the entire situation, when I look at the entire situation as a whole, yeah, it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, do you know what I mean? Okay, I'm a sinner. I've done bad things. Perhaps I'm deserving of a scolding. Perhaps I am. I need some sort of correction. But the psychopathic behavior, it really didn't make sense to me. I just thought to myself, nah, I can't. I was questioning it. I was questioning it in my head. It didn't make sense to me. Something was off. Okay, something didn't quite make sense. So what happened? I got to a little village called Pigeoning in New Haven. It's a very sort of, it's a little village. After a certain time of night, all the lights go out. I didn't even have a torch, really. I had my phone. I really struggled to get out of that town. So what happened that night was, I was in Pigeoning. It was just about to get dark, and they took me to this patch of grass near the woods. It was sort of in the woods, but it was a patch of grass, okay? And I was lying on the ground. They wanted me to lie on the ground, and I was being assaulted, okay? I was being assaulted. And I lie down on the ground, and I took it. I took it, and I took it, and I took it, and I took it. Yeah. Yeah. My face. Yeah. That. Yeah. Getting pounded in the face. Yeah. That's the type of attack I had to deal with. That's the day I had. Yeah, I'm God, by the way. Yeah. So there I am, getting my face pounded, looking up at the sky. And the demons are doing all these signs to me with the clouds. And they were doing signs with the clouds, so they were able to form all sorts of complex images in the sky with clouds, and they were sending signs to me. And I got one of the things. There was a communication between me and them, right? You know, I'm thinking things, I'm asking things, and I'm seeing things in the sky. And one of the things that I thought I saw in the sky was a depiction of my ex-girlfriend and things I'd done with her. And I saw that in the sky. And one of the things I saw, so this was dark now, you know, and that's the thing, they were also, not only were they messing with the clouds in the sky, like actually moving and forming the clouds, but they can also cause me to have visions within my eyes, you know, because, I mean, literally, I'm surrounded by, you know, I was being surrounded by evil demons, and they were able to, you know, that's the thing, they're able to poke at the body, they're able to manipulate images and stuff like that, they're able to put things into the you know, they're able to do some type of manipulation through the scent, you know, yeah, the physical body. And, you know, well, let me go back to, you know, so when I was at my home, there was, you know, when the demons came to me at first, that I remember lying in my bed, I was sitting on the side of my bed, and I asked them questions like, who are you? Like, you know, like, and I remember looking at the palm of my hand, and a face appeared in my hand. It showed to me the image of a face. I can't remember if it was on the palm of my hand or it was the back of my hand or something, but it was able to communicate with me. You know, that's the thing. It was able to push my blood into a certain, you know what I mean? They were able to communicate with me. I remember I had a mug of coffee, right? And I've been drinking coffee and tea out of it. You know, I'd usually use it for about 4 or 5 drinks before washing it properly. And I remember looking at the bottom of my mug, and I could see what looked like I saw all kinds of straight. You know, I saw one of them. It showed me an eye, what looked like the all-seeing eye at the bottom of the mug, and then there was, I think it was the same mug, but there was like an eye, there was a tree, and it looked like something was hanging from the tree, and a dragon. Yeah, I mean, that was some, you know, now those sort of things, I know I definitely saw what I saw. That level, you know, things have changed, things are different now. But back then, this is how crazy, you know, demons were really trying to scare the hell out of me. They were really trying to come after me. So let's go back to, you know, I'm lying on the ground, I'm being assaulted, and the things are happening in the sky. I'm seeing clouds, and things are happening in my eyeballs. You know, I'm you know, there's some crazy stuff happening. Okay. Now it was dark, and I could see a figure in the sky. There was this figure, and it looked like it had wings, perhaps black wings. It looked like what I saw. It was quite hard to see because it was dark, but it was at a point in the sky where I could see it, but not in any great detail. And what happened is it was up there. It was looking down at me, and then it was like this portal. It was like a hatch, like It looked like something like a square hatch, like opened behind it, and then it just flew backwards through it, like, you know what I mean? It just flew, it just went like that back through this hatch, and it was like it opened a hatch in the sky, you know. It's like, you know, something out of a movie or something like that. Well, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, something you might see in some sort of Hollywood movie. You know what I mean? It's like someone, you know, drawing a portal with their hand, and then someone just goes through the portal. I mean, that was, do you know what I mean? It's, you know, it was up in the sky. It was looking down at me, and then behind it, something opened, and it basically just flew backwards, and it was gone. And the next thing I saw was these lights in the sky, and it was like, you know, there was an orange light. All I could see was all these orange lights just flying around, and they, you know, I looked at it and I could see that there's something very strange was happening. You know, I got the sense that there's, you know, maybe these are demons flying around with some sort of orange light, like a lantern, I don't know. But they formed this skull looking face, so it looked like a skull. It looked like a skull, and it looked like it was angry. It looked menacing. It was intended to scare me. So there was this skull-looking face that had been, you know, it was made up of all these orange lights, and it was falling from the sky at me. It was falling down from the sky, and it was coming down towards me and towards me and towards me while I'm lying on the ground being assaulted. And at that point, I was like, I'm getting out of here. I got up. You know, I didn't know where I was. And I tried to run, you know, and the demons are just trying to pull me down, trying to pull me and trip me over, and, you know, and I, you know, I'm running. And how did I get out of there? I got lost for a while, you know. I got stuck in that town. I couldn't find my way out of that little village. It was so dark. I think there was like 1 or 2 lights in the entire village, probably. It was so dark. And anyway, I managed to find my way. I didn't speak to anybody. I didn't see anybody to talk to. All the house lights were off. Seemed like everyone had gone to bed. Very, you know, some people like to go to bed earlier, I guess. I was terrified. Anyway, I found my way to New Haven train station. I managed to get the last train back to Brighton. If I hadn't caught that train, flipping heck, I don't know what I would have done. You know. Anyway, I got on that train. Yeah. I mean, I was so confused. Like, I didn't even know. You know, I was like praying. You know, I was praying to Yahweh, and I was asking for forgiveness, and, you know, like, and, you know, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to think. I was scared. Anyway, I got on that train back to Brighton, and I remember coming back to Brighton, and I walked out of the station, and I looked up at the sky, and I could see that they were still trying to terrify me. You know, it looked like some sort of scene out of Ghostbusters or something like that. And I went home, and I was so glad to be home in that moment. You know, I was so glad that I wasn't lying on the ground shivering being, but I was still being assaulted, I was still being attacked. I still felt like I was under attack, but at least I had a sofa to sit on and a warm flat to be in. So I was kind of happy for that. But then the day after that, I started I started learning about well, I remember watching this channel. It's a YouTube channel. I think it's called Good God, and he tries to he talks about how he thinks that he has some opinions. He thinks that the God of the Old Testament is evil, and and I was watching that, and I remember that, and I don't know. I think that's not true, but it's it's oh, excuse me. Oh, where did that come from? Yeah, but the thing is that I think I was watching his videos, and I was he was like, yeah, the God of the Old Testament, Yahweh, he's evil. And and I kind of thought to myself, that thing that was, I just felt like I was being attacked, and I'm like, I kind of sort of just thought to myself, like, okay, so I'm going to ignore, I'm going to be strong, I'm going to keep going, you know what I mean? I've got to keep going, I've got to just, maybe these are evil demons, they're coming after me, they're trying to attack me, they're trying to, I don't know what the answer is. So basically, I just kept going. One day at a time. And what happened was, my memory of back then is kind of vague, but I was basically running out of money quickly. I remember when I was, there was a time they cut off my internet. And so I had to go to McDonald's and use the Wi-Fi at McDonald's. I would sit in McDonald's the entire day, staring at a Bitcoin chart, thinking, I just need to catch that one lucky trade. And then and eventually McDonald's got pissed off at me. They got rid of me. They're like, get out of here. And I did it for days and days and days. I even tried it in one of the pubs called the Hobgoblin. I was doing anything. I was trying to keep my head above water, and I was doomed to failure. So I eventually ran out of money, and so that led to me leaving Brighton and moving in with family in Bristol. So I moved into this house, which was my mum's house back then, before she died, right? So she was living here with her girlfriend, civil partner, whatever, right? She was in a lesbian relationship. So I was here. I also stayed with my aunt and uncle in a place called Fail Land. Yeah. So I was sort of between here and there, which is not far away. It's about a 20-minute drive. And so I came over to the southwest again. And I remember I was sleeping in this house. And, I felt like something had changed. Something had changed. This spirit, whatever was on the front of me, I got the impression, I kind of felt to myself, like, is this a woman? Is there a woman on top of me? Because I don't know, I got this impression like there was this feminine, there was some sort of female presence, and and so I tried to find out who she is. I'm like, who are you? And eventually I found out who she was. And I was asking questions, and I was getting, and that's the thing. It was all part of the attack, okay? So this is the war. So I have realized who I am, okay? That attack that happened to me back when I was in Sussex, in Brighton, the demons, that happened. And so I got attacked, and, I kept going, and, Aaliyah came to me. She came to me to, there's a war between me and the world, okay? And the world has, that's the thing, Aaliyah Dana Houghton and Fiona Selvin are, they're used to attack me, okay? They are worshipped by the world worships them. They are essentially the world, in a sense. I mean, I'm not quite sure, what it is exactly, but, my understanding is that Aaliyah is Mary, and Fiona, she's got connections to feces, and, she's coffee, and, she's the world, she is, Sophia, go look at Gnosticism and Sophia and find out about, what the hell is she? What the hell is she supposed to be about? Go look at it. She's a very evil demon. Okay? There are some very, very evil demons. And, the world consists of evil demons who are, they want to, they have certain individuals that are certain demons that perform certain roles. Okay? And there are many, there are plenty of them who want to fight me, okay? So I'm being fought by lots of demons all at the same time, okay? Who would have guessed, huh? Who would have guessed? So I'm making that clear. So what happened? So I came here, and I learned that there was this female presence with me, and as you can imagine, that improved my mood. That improved my. I felt kind of relieved in a sense. I kind of felt like, oh, things are getting better. And I found out who she was, and I felt, I guess you could say I fell for it. I mean, like, I just became, like, oh, I love you so much. You're with me. Oh, I've got nothing to worry about. I fell for it. And that was the plan. She wanted me to fall like an idiot. She wanted me to be like, oh. And that's what happened. It was all about wasting my time, messing with my mind, making me go absolutely insane. Okay? It was all about driving me crazy. Okay? Keeping me fooled. Okay? The fact is, she's evil. And she's a whore. And she is fighting a war with me. It's a magic war. And, it's I am eternal. I'm the spirit from above. She is the dirt from beneath. Okay? There's so many ways I can try and explain it. I mean, that's the thing. I had to figure this out. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had to learn so much. I've had to consider all these different possibilities, you know, and it takes time. You know, I have to consider the possibilities, and then I have to test. You know, I have to test these ideas and be like, you know, I have to see how it connects with all the different things, and, you know, trying to make sense of it. And what the thing is that in this war, you know, there's always so many times I found myself in a position where it's like, is it this way or is it that way? You know, is it, you know, I can look at it and I could be like, it could be this, but it could also be that, you know. And I always find, a lot of the time I find myself at a crossroads, and it's like, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Like, you know, and yeah, it's caused me an unbelievable amount of stress. So the thing is, you know, I found out she was with me. I was trying to communicate with her. You know, I was working as a delivery guy. I worked for Hermes as a parcel driver, you know, parcel shop driver. It's very interesting, right? Today, and when I woke up, I mentioned, you know, I checked the news when I woke up this morning. I'm expecting a parcel. I've only got one parcel that's in the post. It's coming from the United States of America. It's coming from California. I'm getting myself a box of G Fuel. G Fuel. Okay? And I noticed in the news this morning, it said breaking news. Apparently there are parcels getting shipped around with incendiary devices in them. So, you know, they're being sent around and they're causing fires and stuff. So, yeah, you know, sometimes when I get certain things delivered to me, strange news stories appear. But anyway, yeah. Anyways, give me a second. I'm trying to think when I rolled the cigarette. Excuse me 1 second. So, you know, I was working as a parcel shop guy. I was working as a delivery driver. That was a tough job, I tell you. The money was crap. So I did that for 6 months. And when I started it, the first month I started that job in 2019. It would have been, I think, November. It would have, I think, was it? No, it could have been October. It was late 2019. Okay, so it would have been autumn 2019. And I did that job for 3 or 4 weeks. And then they start talking about COVID-19. They started talking about coronavirus. And that's where it started, right? The coronavirus happened. And it's interesting because, you know, I'd spent years indoors doing what I was doing, right? And then I got a job outdoors, you know, getting exercise. And the next thing we know, everyone's been locked in their homes. You know, everyone's going to have to, you know, sit in front of their computer all day long at home, getting stressed and wanting to go outside, blah, 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 coronavirus. So that all happened. Yeah, very bizarre turn of events. You know, after everything that had happened to me. So, and this is the thing, you know, when I moved into this house with my mom, I told her what had happened to me. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting raped by ghosts. Like, I told her what happened to me, and she just, no. Yeah. She didn't want to know. She didn't want to know. She just treated me like I'd lost my mind. And there was nothing I could do to convince her. So I stopped trying. Well, I suppose I probably tried every now and again, but yeah, that's the thing. She's a very angry, snappy, nasty, abusive, lying bitch. So I tried to, and obviously, I was, well, that's the thing. I was facing bankruptcy. I had, I was out of money, and I owed money to the bank. So, she paid off my debts. So, but the thing is, when all that trading was going, she had, said that she would have, because the thing was she was dying of cancer, and she said that she was going to give me something like £50,000 or something, right? She'd made all kinds of suggestions to me, and, she even said that she was going to do something, but she didn't. That's annoying, because I thought I'd had, I thought I was going to have some help. But she changed her mind. So, she pulled the rug from underneath my feet. She was very good at doing that to me. She was always very good at doing that to me. She was always trying to create a situation where she could do that to me again and again and again. That's basically her, that was the entire point of her existence, it seems. That's all she ever did to me, She was always looking to create a situation where she could just bonk me on the head, corrupt me or ruin me somehow. Very evil woman. That's the thing. She was, appearances can be deceiving, a lot of people thought, oh wow, she really loves you, Grant. Look how much she spoils you, and she throws money at you. Look at all the toys she bought you when you were a kid and stuff. Oh, look at you. Aren't you special? Don't you have a special mom? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, appearances are deceiving. She was very good at that. She was very good at deceiving. And that's the thing, she was the world tries to get close to me in order to steal my power. And that's why I get surrounded by very crazy demons. Anyways, so what happened? I learned about Aaliyah Dana Houghton. I learned. My mom died of cancer. And I quit my job. After my mom died of cancer, I quit my job and I stayed home. And I've been at home ever since. My mom died on the 24th of July, 24/7, 2021. She died of lung cancer. She drowned, and the fluid in her lungs caused her to drown. So she suffocated to death. So I've been here ever since, and I've so back then, I assumed Aaliyah was trying to help me. I thought she was trying to help me. But the thing is that there are good and bad spirits that have surrounded me. Essentially, they're all trying to. I've got spirits that are trying to help me. I've got spirits that are trying to attack me, and so, it's in the bad. The bad spirits want to convince me that they are my friend. You know what I'm saying? They want me to listen to them instead of the good spirits, who were actually with me, who were actually, you know that saying, on my side? Well, look, a bad spirit could try to attach itself, try to connect, try to climb on my side and be like, yeah, I'm on his side. I'm on his side, yo. Whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's a magic battle that's happening. Okay? So, she got me confused. I'm trying to learn the truth. She's trying to waste my time. She's trying to confuse me. And I spent time, I started learning about magic. I'd never really learned, I'd never ever tried to, buy tarot cards before, or oracle cards. I'm not the kind of person who has pentagrams and candles and wands and stuffs, and I'd never done any of that stuff in my life before. I was never into that. But that started then. It was like, okay, I need to make some progress. I need to learn. I need to figure out what's, I knew that I had to investigate things. I had to learn things. I had to make progress. I mean, you look at rich celebrities. What do? Witchcraft. Freemasons, yeah, they're doing rituals. Okay, there are a lot of evil witches in this world doing witchy things. I had to learn what all that was all about. Okay. While studying the Bible, learning everything bit by bit by bit. Okay. So eventually I figured out that Aaliyah is evil. I cannot trust her. And that all she was trying to do was confuse me and fight me and hurt me. So yeah, I thought I should explain that. Make sure that's nice and clear. I mean, that's the thing, I remember I used to watch her music videos and listen to her music, and I think, well, do you know what I mean? A lot of people think she's like an angel. They say, oh, she's such an angel. Oh, she's so special. I was on the toilet. I was sitting on the toilet the other day, and I was singing to myself, back and forth and forth. The song by Aaliyah, it's back and forth, right? Well, that's the thing, feces, right? Back and forth. Off you go then. Off you go, bitch. Well, that's the thing, they're the world, the substance, they're the matter. Yeah. Tell you what, the toilet gets blocked a lot in my house. There's always a war going on. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Get out of here, you bitch. Fucking hilarious. Yeah. Well, look, that's the thing, that's the thing. Every living being on this planet, in a body, they have a body. I've got a body, right? You've got a body, probably. I would think. Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking to spirits as well. But listen, living beings, man and woman have bodies. They're composed of matter. Okay. I'm God. I can give you spirit. I can give you you know, if you love me, my spirit will, you know, my spirit will become, you know, you know, you can receive things through my spirit, if that makes sense. But, you know, this is the thing, you know, it's like, this world is very robotic, you know, it's very, and the thing about magic is, like, you know, the way I kind of look at it is that, you know, you have all these different objects and they all have all these different connections to one another through words. You know, it's like there's like all these like magic tunnels. You know, there's all these tunnels of magic. You know, and it flows like energy. You know, like how an electrical circuit is built, right? You know, or you know, you think of like pipes or plumbing or tunnels or whatever. You know how, you know, things can travel. Have you ever looked at a network diagram? You know, a computer network diagram, and you got all, you know, you got all the different connections, and you know, the signals go this way and that way and everywhere. You know, yeah. I mean, you know, magic is kind of, you know, you just have to understand that magic energy flows. It flows. And that's the thing, you know, I'm God. I'm in a physical body composed of matter. Okay? And that's something I have in common with every single man and woman on this planet. We all exist in a body composed of matter. You know, there are a lot of things that we have in common. And that means that, you know, that's the thing. Whenever I'm in a physical body and I'm on this planet, the world goes bonk. You know, that's the thing, you know. It changes. It changes, you know. The world is, you know, the way the world behaves is different. Okay? You know, if I wasn't in a physical body, it would be a different situation. But there's this magic, you know, there's always this magic war happening, and it, you know, and right now I'm in a physical body. Okay, so have I explained enough for this video? I think there's more. I think there's more to go. I mean, this is the thing, you know. When I first got getting to know Aaliyah, I was trying to communicate with her. You know, and I was learning about her. I mean, that's the thing, you know, when I was a little kid, well, when I was, you know, 11, 12 years old, I actually got that film, Romeo Must Die. You know, I was a fan of, well, that's the thing, you know, I had a region-free DVD player back then when I was a kid. And I got a Region 1 version of Romeo Must Die. And I got Gladiator as well. And some, anyway, so I got those, you know. I knew who Aaliyah was from that movie. And so, yeah. So I, you know, and when I found out who she was, and then I found out that she died in that plane crash before, yeah, I think I can't remember what order, you know, maybe that, yeah, but I figured out who she was, right? I figured out who she was. Yeah. Anyways, I figured out who she was. I mean, as you can imagine, I was like, really? Really? You know, and obviously that's the thing. The more I dug, the more I learned, the more I inspected things closer and closer and closer. I could see there were connections. You know, there were very interesting things, you know. I could see that, you know, there was a story to be investigated, and that took time. That took time. Okay, it's a slow process. Anyways, yeah, yeah. You know, that's the thing. I think I kind of, back then I was sort of thinking, wow, you know, she died when she was 22. And I thought, wow, that's a young age to die. That is a young age to die, isn't it, really? But, you know, I mean, yeah, that doesn't make her a good person. She is evil. She really is evil. You know, she wanted to present herself as, you know, and that's the thing, people thought of her as, you know, this sweet angel. But really, I mean, on closer inspection, she's an evil whore. And the fact is that she hates me. She absolutely hates me and wants to destroy me. Okay? That hasn't, you know, that's how it is. That's how it is. That's how it gonna be. You know what I'm saying? I can't. Well, what can I say? What can I say? She's a bitch. I mean, that's the thing, you know. If people love me, I love them. If people hate me, they're choosing to be. If people don't love me or they hate me, they've chosen to be my enemy. Basically, yeah. You know, you're either on one side. Do you know what I mean? Like, ooh, you're either on the side of evil or you're on the side of me, God. I don't really like that word side very much. Because that's the thing, right? Eve, the woman, was made from the side of Adam, right? Okay? She was made from the side, the rib. You know, people say rib, but I think originally it was side. You know, this is why, you know the symbol for infinity, it's a sideways 8. Yeah? 8. You know, what is 8? Well, you eat material substance and it comes out the other end as crap. Yeah? You know, the Ouroboros symbol, which is another, people consider that to be a symbol for infinity. You know, it's the snake that eats itself. Yeah? Yeah? What does a crab look like? Well, you know, sometimes it can look very snake-like. You know what I mean? Like a big long sausage. But yeah, you get the point. I hope. I don't know how much more I can explain this. And that's the thing, you know, my understanding is that Aaliyah is Gabriel. And the thing is that, well, Aliyah, and then you have the word, there's the word Allah. Aliyah, Allah, Allah, Aliyah. Okay? Now, the thing about Islam, the Quran and stuff, it's they talk about Jibril or Gabriel, yeah? Gabriel, so remember when, the Virgin Mary, she, it was written that she got pregnant and stuff like that. And I think it was a Gabriel went to Joseph and said, "Oh no, don't, she's not a whore. Don't worry about it." No, she's just carrying God. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Now, my understanding is that Mary is Gabriel, and people might be like, "Well, how does that? That's not exactly how it's written." But you have to understand that, the things that have been written down by men, well, you have to understand that, things haven't been written. Well, that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? People talk about the books of the Bible being inspired. Well, people say it's written by God. Well, I didn't come down and I didn't actually write with my own hand. Do you know what I mean? Men wrote the different books of the Bible. Okay. And so you have to consider that it's not totally perfectly written. But the thing is that the words, and when you understand that words manifest things. And the thing is that what I'm trying to say here is that I believe Gabriel is Mary. Okay. That's what I've been told. Now, whether that's true or not, but basically, Gabriel, I don't trust Gabriel, I don't trust Mary, I don't trust Aaliyah, I don't trust Fiona, I don't trust, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying that there's a lot of evil forces at work. Okay? It's a lot of evil demons. And, there are other people who were part of my wider family who have died, and I get the impression they're evil as well. Some names: Frank, Christopher, Isabel. Yeah, I get some I don't get good impressions. Let's put it that way, okay? I see things and I think, I see, doppelgangers and names, and I see the witchcraft. I see the trail of information that has been left, and it paints a picture of hatred towards me. Okay? And that's how it is. Okay? It also would explain people's behaviors towards me when they were alive. A lot. So that's how it is. People get close to me, they get consumed by the desire for power. Because the foul spirits, they can help them achieve a certain amount of power. They can help them steal power, and they become consumed by that temptation. And this is why it's important that people love God, put God first, instead of, instead of their own desire for power. Okay? Hopefully I've made that clear enough for you to understand. So, I've explained, what happened to me, and I've explained how I got to here, pretty much. But the thing is, I realized how powerful I am. Through this process, I thought to myself, okay, I figured out that I'm Archangel Michael. Then I figured out I'm Jesus. And then I figured out I'm God. It was a stepping stone thing. It was like, okay, I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm Archangel Michael. And then I'm like, okay, I'm Jesus. Oh yeah, and I'm God. Yeah, no, it was a slow process. I was learning, I was figuring things out, and it happened gradually, bit by bit by bit. And there was a lot of going backwards and forwards, like thinking, no, like, why do I think this? Why do I think this? I felt crazy. I felt like I was losing my mind. I was like, what the fuck's going on? Somebody help me. I was going crazy trying to figure all this stuff out. I realized I'm very powerful. I have extremely powerful magic going on. So I was being faced with this on a daily basis. I was being faced with the fact that, I'm watching so many crazy things happening in the news. I'm being confronted with it everywhere I look. Everything wants to mirror me. So I'm constantly being faced with this situation. I cannot escape. It's like I can't ignore it. I'm not, there's no way for me to ignore it. It's always present. The only way, I'd have to lock myself in a room and never speak to anybody ever again. If I wanted to do that, well, it ain't gonna happen, is it? So it was a gradual process. I didn't, I did. There wasn't, it didn't happen like I'm good. I didn't just say to myself, "Hey, I'm God." I was learning about the truth. I got attacked by demons. Lots of crazy stuff happened to me. People, I've tried to tell people about it, and surprise, surprise, no one believes it. I've had to do this. I've had to try to, I've tried to do the best that I can, learning bit by bit by bit. And, it's been a real struggle. It's been a real battle it's been a huge battle just to get to where I am right now. And I'm making hundreds of videos, hundreds of short videos, and I've made a lot of long videos like this as well. And it's documented. It's explained. I explain. I just speak the truth. I speak. I explain my current understanding of the situation as best as I can. And I try to explain things. I'm trying to get people to recognize the situation for what it is. The fact that I'm God. That very crazy things are happening here. I've tried to show people that the world is mimicking me. You know, I created my Facebook page with this idea because I knew I learned that it was a learn. You know, I did a lot of learning through that. You know, posting stuff on Facebook and then seeing how when I do that, the world reacts. The world, I affect what goes on in the world. Because the world is trying to draw, the world is trying to absorb my light by copying me in some kind of way. The more they can be like me, the more power they're going to absorb. But they want to copy me in, you know, in ways that, I mean, this is the thing, right? What is Christianity, you know? I showed people the path of how to stand in the truth, how to love me, how to love God, how to love others, you know, put others first, you know, put God first and, you know, love others. And that's the thing, you know, that, you know, that is the way I want people to come to me, you know. I bless those people because, you know, they're growing, you know, they're becoming better, you know, they're becoming my children through that, you know, they are my children. I love them, they love me, and that's the relationship I want with people. And so, you know, when they do that, you know, they're putting on the armor of God. You know, they're becoming blessed and protected through that. Okay. But the thing is that the rest of the world, they don't want to be, you know, the evil people who are seduced by foul spirits. You know, they're too busy chasing after pleasure, and you know, they're pleasure seekers. You know, they don't love me, but they want to absorb. They still want to absorb my power. So they do it through all kinds of crazy things, other things that have nothing to do with the spirit. You know, having a loving spirit. They are doing everything else to try to absorb my power, basically. They're doing magic, witchcraft, word magic, mimicry, yeah. So, and this is, you know, I know how powerful I am. You know, I've managed to look at my life and what happens on a daily basis. I've managed to look back at my entire past. I'm able to look back over the years. I'm able to see what's happened throughout my life and how the world has changed and how the world, you know, how things have happened, how massive events have happened. You know, 9/11, you know, I've explained that one so many times now. You know, you know, I went to boarding school, Charterhouse. You know, I've explained things like, you know, I'm born in 1987, you know, my year of birth is on a clock. You know, go look at a clock, an analog clock. You know, I have the same birthday as King Charles III, the 14th of November. My dad is called Charles. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a whole, and you know, there's an enormous list of things. Because everyone, you know, the world wants to draw my power, and so it leaves a trail of information. It's all over the place. you know, I try to explain the most obvious things, so people can have a chance to understand it. But the thing is, it's like, you know, well, I'm trying to explain it to you, you know, that magic works the way it does, okay? And it requires a lot of understanding, you know? It's like, it's you know, like, if you were looking at computer code, you probably wouldn't know what any of it means, because you're probably not a computer programmer. Okay? So it's, you know, it's something that has to be, you know, to understand how magic in this world works, you have to actually, well, you have to learn it, you know, and to explain it to somebody who doesn't know anything about it, well, you know what I mean? I see a lot of things. I can explain a lot of things, but, you know, to a lot of people, it's gonna sound like the ramblings of a madman. So, you know, I try to stick to, you know, what is most simple to understand. Okay. Okay, so I have spoken a lot for this video. Is there anything else I want to add about? Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because my last video was very rambly, wasn't it? I titled it AD, or ADD. It's interesting because when I was 16, I had a girlfriend, a Polish Jew from New York, called Europa, and she had ADD. Yeah, you know, she always behaved like a whore, right? She was a total hoe. I always had to, you know, watch her from a, you know, I was always seeing her getting close to other guys, and you know, she used to say, oh, you know, she used to blame the fact that she's such a hoe on the fact she has attention deficit disorder, ADHD. And that's the strange thing, right? Because Aaliyah Dana Houghton, well, those are her initials, ADH. And obviously ADHD or ADD. Well, look, isn't it, you know, so that's the thing. Look at the story of the Adam and Eve, okay? Adam and Eve, you know, I've explained all the stuff about the magic and, you know, what happened in the garden of Adam and Eve. And, you know, so Adam and Eve, you know, they did the thing. They ate the fruit from the tree that they weren't supposed to eat. Okay. Now, what does that all mean? What does that really mean? Well, I've explained, you know, stories are magic. Okay. It's a story that explains what needs to be explained, you know. But Adam and Eve were doing witchcraft. Okay, so, you know, when I look at the story, you know, it makes me think, well, Adam and Eve were they were trying to draw my power through magic. Okay, the snake said to them, said, you know, if you eat the fruit, you'll be like God. So, you know, and I've learned from looking at the world that the world wants to be me. So, you know, people are doing witchcraft and word magic and stuff, right? Because they want to be me. And so I look at the story of Adam and Eve and I think, oh yeah, you know, that's what they do. You know, that's what, you know, that's basically what, you know, I see there's a connection there. Okay, I think that's pretty much what it's all about. You know, that's my opinion, right? That's my understanding. So, and that's the funny thing, right? Because Adam, but what does it mean to add? You know, can you add 1 + 1? Can you add 2 + 2? Can you add, you know? Well, yeah, I can add. Add am. Yeah, add am. Yeah, you see how the word is being used as a form of it's a magic attack against me. Because, yeah, I add. But I'm not Adam. Adam, I created Adam. And Adam and Eve did the thing they weren't supposed to do. And that thing they were doing was attacking me with magic. They were trying to be me. I feel like I've explained this. I feel like I've explained as well as I can. Really. I feel like I've explained enough that if you still reject what I'm saying, well, what more can I do for you? Really? Anyway, I think I'll leave it there because it's been a long video. So, I hope you liked the video. I've tried to explain. I'm explaining to you very personal thing. I'm explaining to you a story. I've explained to you a story that is, I've tried to be honest. I've tried to tell you the truth. That I'm the truth. I am the truth. I'm God. I'm telling you the truth. Okay? That it's weird, the language, isn't it? Very confusing. But I've tried so hard to explain this again and again and again. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm fed up. I'm annoyed. I'm exhausted. I'm telling you things. These are really important things. Things that have happened to me. These are the things that changed my life. It changed the way I looked at everything. I've been attacked by evil forces, evil demons that want my power. And I've explained to you what's happened. So, you're either going to believe it or you're not. There's really not a lot more I can do to convince you otherwise. And it's something that, I don't really want to have to keep talking about all the time. I want to, I want to, I've been sat here for years. I'm getting older by the day. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of waiting for a world that doesn't seem to want to listen to me, doesn't want to have anything to do with me, doesn't want to know me, doesn't want to believe me, thinks I'm a liar, thinks I'm crazy. So, yeah. It should be no surprise, Consider, well, I'm God. The reason the world is getting destroyed, well, people will complain, won't they? They'll be like, why would God do this to us? I don't need to say anymore, do I? Anyway, bye-bye. Catch you later.